So we continue and complete our recorded lecture on Module 12. So we have Reptilia as another major class of vertebrates. So reptiles have evolved stronger and more effective jaw mechanisms, allowing them to adapt predator lifestyles. Um, these animals are more able to move or are more able to move and um, hunt in terrestrial habitats. They have developed an amniotic egg. So the developing embryo has an amnion covering it, and the fluid, amniotic fluid, is surrounding the developing embryo. No? Characteristic among reptiles is the presence of epidermal modifications such as scales in snakes and scutes in animals such as in reptiles such as turtles, no? Those that are member of chelonians. Yan. So here are some representative animals. So we have turtles, an iguana, snake, an alligator, okay, and I think this is monitor lizard, shown in the picture, okay. Reptiles are oviparous animals. So some reptiles are oviparous, some are ovoviviparous, able to lay their eggs um, and allow development of the progeny outside the body of the animal. So the egg is external to the body of the female parent. Others are ovoviviparous, so they lay their eggs, and once the eggs are laid, they hatch right away. Okay. Um, some reptiles are able to live in aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems, adapted to both life to both life on land and on water. Okay. Others are more terrestrial, no? And are adapted to um, and are adapted to move and carry out day-to-day activities on land. Okay. In terms of their uh, in terms of their feeding habit, no, some reptiles are purely herbivorous, others are carnivorous, and others can um, feed on both vegetative and um smaller animals, flesh. Some can combine both vegetative and smaller animals as part of their diet. Okay, so here is an epidermal modification, a scute covering a turtle. Scutes appear like this. You'll get the chance to study more about the morphology and the, the morphology and general characteristics of vertebrates in another course on comparative vertebrate anatomy. Here are scales in the representative snake. And in terms of their endoskeleton, so they possess bony skeleton that is calcareous in nature. The bony endoskeleton provides the animal with its framework, with that gives the animal its body shape. Okay. Right. And here are some more pictures on um, demonstrating the fact that reptiles are either oviparous or ovoviviparous animals. Okay. Now, a key characteristic I want to introduce is the number and the presence of a temporal fenestra. So, temporal fenestra are openings in the skull of a vertebrate which are post-orbital in positioning, meaning they're behind the orbital cavity, behind the eyes. No? These post-orbital openings allow the animal to expand and lengthen the muscles of their head. There are several groupings of vertebrates according to whether they possess a temporal fenestra or they possess a particular number. Anapsids are those that do not have post-orbital openings. Diapsids are the ones that possess two openings. Synapsids possess one opening. Euryapsid is a modification of what was believed to be a kind of synapsid modality or pattern, but eventually was found out to be a modification of the diapsid plan, the diapsid temporal fenestra plan. Okay. Now let's have specific groups under reptilia. We have chelonians, the turtles, okay, that are able to survive in both marine, I mean in aquatic, marine, and terrestrial environments. Here you can see a tortoise and a turtle. Okay. Then we also have another group, the squamata, the sauria. Okay. So we have our iguanas, chameleons. Okay. The common house lizard, the monitor lizard. Okay. This one I'm not really sure about the name, but I think this is an endemic reptile in southern hemisphere, particularly in Australia. Okay, have flying lizards. It's also part of the squamata. Okay, then we also have the serpents, of course, the common snake, different color and appearance. But generally, these and serpents have elongated body plan, vermiform in appearance. The epidermis has modifications called scales. Some are able to produce venom, so their bites can be poisonous, can be toxic to the prey or to the victim. Okay. If I am not mistaken, these colored ones are probably rattlesnakes. This one, in Tagalog, is called a dahong palay. It's a very poisonous grass snake, no? This one, the common reticulated python. Okay. In serpents, no, some of them are able to adapt a lifestyle where they can hunt in aquatic systems and aquatic habitats, but not for long compared to what amphibians can do or for the case of chelonians. Okay, so here you can see the secretion of venom from the fang of a serpent, be poisonous. Okay, then we have rhynchocephalia. Right? So this representative animal uh, is mostly terrestrial in habitat. Okay, can have a predator lifestyle. They're similar to monitor lizards in appearance, no? But they're smaller. Then we have the crocodilia, crocodiles. Okay, one of the top apex predators in environments that are mixed with that are mix of aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. Okay, Some more photos. Okay. Right, so those are key examples for reptilia. Now let's talk about aves, the class of vertebrates that cover or include birds. No, some characteristics worth noting. Birds have a complete double circulation, meaning blood passes through their heart two times, no? Allowing them to distribute blood to locations depending on whether it's oxygenated or not. So blood that is originating from the respiratory system, usually oxygenated, is pumped throughout the body of the bird, while those that um, are coming from those blood that have been spent up, the oxygen has been consumed, goes back to the heart. Now, these animals, the aves, are warm-blooded vertebrates. They are oviparous. They lay their eggs, allow the development of the young outside the body of the female parent. No? The front limbs of aves are usually modified as wings, although not all birds are able to fly. And they bear feathers. So the feather is a modification of um, modification of the integumentary system for specifically for birds. Okay, so some representative groups. Okay, and as you can see here, the progression of the characteristics that have been acquired and adapted over time. So during the period of um, the Jurassic period, no, early representatives of birds have acquired the following characteristics. Their four arms, are able to grasp objects. So they use their forearms to acquire prey to get nutrition. They are demonstrated to show reversed pubis in terms of the positioning of the pubic bone. No? And then we have additional characteristics such as the presence of flight feathers, the extension or the development of longer arms, and the development of shorter tails. No? And eventually, we have additional characteristics that gave rise to the capacity of the animal to showcase an arboreal lifestyle. So they have fused pelvis, the presence of a pygostyle, the claws on the foot, on the forelimbs, have been reduced to smaller ones. No? Then later on, that allowed for better movement or more complex maneuverability, no? And low speed flight. No? Additionally, we have the following characteristics. The most bones of the contemporary or more present day representatives of aves have been fused. So among the vertebrates, so birds have one of the fewer numbers of bones because the bones have been fused as um, adaptation to the lifestyle of being able to fly and have the capacity to survive in terrestrial ecosystems. No? Then we have we have the living birds, the neornithes or the neornithes, the new. So the living or the extant birds possess all those characteristics that have been acquired through time. So some of the major subclasses under Aves, so we have the Archaeornithes, the Archaeopteryx, and the Archaeornis, which are extinct animals. Characteristics include they have solid bone, so their endoskeleton relative to the modern day birds are more compact. They also have weakly developed keel, and the flight muscle is not as strong compared to that of modern day birds. Okay. Then we have the Neoornithes, new birds. Okay, so under Odontognathai, we have a representative called Hesperornis species. So Odontognathai are extinct, and many features such as the presence of bones that are less compact, more hollow, and a tail that has been shortened, they manifest or have those characteristics. Then we also have the Paleognathae, the ratites. They have small wings, but really powerful leg muscles. So their leg muscles are actually the ones that allow them to become more advantageous in terrestrial living. No? So they can run fast. Paleognathae. So we have ostrich as other examples. And if I am not mistaken, so this animal here, the colored bird, is a cassowary. Okay. Then we have the neognathae, the birds that are now adapted for sustained flight. So flight as part of their lifestyle is no longer confined to short periods. So under neonates, our birds that have very strong flight muscles. Okay, the common chicken, Gallus gallus, flamenco, the common tree birds, eagle, right? Now, for flight modification, the feathers covering the body of a bird have the contribution of allowing them to sustain flight. The forelimbs that are modified to wings or have powerful muscles associated with them. The neonates have powerful pectoral muscles enabling them to work their wings during flight. No? Their bones are very light, called pneumatic bones. So these bones are hollow. No? The pelvis is already solid and extensively fused to the synsacrum. So the lower limbs are more fixed, and or the lower body part, the lower extremities are more fixed compared to the upper body. No? Their lungs are solid, elastic, and have associated air sacs. And the tail is very short already, more adapted for maneuvering and steering during flight. Okay? Now, last group of vertebrata we're going to talk about are the mammals. Okay, so the mammals constitute the class Mammalia, and they are the major characteristic of these animals is the manifestation of what we call mammary glands. So mammary glands in females, they produce milk that are used for feeding the young. They possess a neocortex in their brain. Neocortex, a neocortical part of the brain, important for high, highly cognitive functions associated with survival, communication, associated with the ability to strategize, to interpret information and be able to respond appropriately. Also, mammals have fur or hair, and there are three middle ear bones that are found in all mammals. Okay? More characteristics, we have hair, mammary glands, the middle ear bones, okay? Stapes, incus, malleus. The diaphragm is muscular, allows the animal to breathe, no? Allows for the highly advanced lungs, the highly advanced respiratory system to function. There are sweat glands that are found throughout the body of the animal for excretion of waste via the sweat. the bones are a mix of being compact or less compact or spongy, but those with spongy appearance, they have marrow within their bones. That marrow can serve as hematopoietic tissue responsible for producing blood cells, no? And two sets of teeth, no? The red blood cells of mammals are also characterized as having biconcave, enucleated, no nucleus morphology. Since primarily the red blood cells in mammals are specialized cells for oxygen transport. Okay, and I already mentioned about having a well-developed brain cortex. Okay. Now, some important groups. So, under mammalia, we have the Prototheria, the egg-laying mammals. Quite a curiosity because they are mammals but are characterized to possess egg-laying properties or egg-laying habit. No, the monotremes under Prototheria include examples such as the echidnas and the platypus. They have testes within the abdominal cavity. It's not the testes for the male mammal. It's not really extruding the body wall, the primary body wall. They don't have pinna in their ears. No connective tissue characterizes the pinna section of the ears. They don't have a corpus callosum that connects the hemispheres of the brain, and they have less stable body temperature. Here you can see platypus. No? Then we have this is an example of the egg, no? Of a monotreme. Then we have the subclass Theria, mammals that give birth to a live young without a shelled egg. And under Theria, there are two infraclasses. The Metatheria, the pouch mammals, the kangaroos, who bore young alive, but the young is at a very immature stage. So the young needs to stay with the female parent as it progresses to adulthood. Then we have infraclass Eutheria, which are the placental mammals. Okay, so Metatheria, so we have kangaroo as an example of metatherians. Okay, koala. And not sure about this animal. Okay, also not sure about this. Okay, so you can see the live young will require some time with the female parent for it to develop maybe body wise and eventually become independent enough, no? Then for our infraclass Eutheria, some examples. So we have Afrosoricida. So these mammals have a coat that can vary from being smooth to spiny. The coloration of the fur is generally brown, and most species possess a nocturnal behavior. They're characterized to have very poor eyesight, so they are more active at night. Okay. Then we have the order Artiodactyla. So these species are herbivores, have an even number of toes. So you can see here the characteristic number of toes on the limbs, the fore and hind limbs of the animal. And most Artiodactyla possess four-chambered stomachs. Since most of them are herbivores, it will require more complexity to digest vegetative material. So some of the common examples of Artiodactyla, okay. Then we have the carnivora, order carnivora. They have elongated, pointed canines. So look at their mouth. That's the initial thing you have to do. So if they have those canines, then they are carnivores. But the tusks are conical shape and are used to kill the prey. The premolar and the molar teeth also have a pointed shape with one or more sharp cusps. So therefore their teeth, their set of teeth is really modified to kill, to carry out predation. Some examples. So cheetah, I'm guessing. Lion, cheetah, seal. Is this seal? Not really sure. Or um um mm, yeah, seal or I think no, manatees are cetaceans. So, so those that possess this kind of teeth modification are all carnivora or carnivorous mammals. Then for cetacea, yan, these are aquatic mammals. They have a streamlined body shape, often very large, and exclusively carnivorous diet. No? So some examples, we have the whales, dolphins, okay, orcas. So these are under order Cetacea. Then order Chiroptera, the bats, the only group of mammals that are capable of limited flight. So they're coupled with the ability to navigate at night. So most of them are nocturnal. They're able to practice echolocation. So the bats are able to decipher their environment based on sound, based on echoes that they receive. No, once their ano no their sound one sound waves are able to bounce back to them. No, so they're able to make something of their path based on the echoes of sound waves. Okay. And then, so Chiroptera, okay. Birds have the birds have been classified. No, I mean bats have been classified to were old world and new world bats. The old world bats are the mega bats or the bigger ones, while the new world ones are the smaller bats in terms of size. Then we have order Cingulata, the only mammal that has an armor plating. Okay, so the only mammal that has an armor plating, we have order Cingulata. Okay, the armadillo. You can see here an animation. Okay, so here you can curl up in a ball. Right? And then under Dermoptera, so they have the ability to glide, not fly, due primarily to their distinctive feature by which they are named. So they have extensions of their skin flaps that they can actually use to fly. No? Order Dermoptera. Not sure if the animal called sugar glider belongs to Dermoptera. Let me check. I think it is. Sugar glider. Yes, they are. Yeah. Yep. So, sugar gliders are under Dermoptera. Okay. Then we have the order Erinaceomorpha. They have unique defensive adaptation in that they possess hair modified as sharp spines, forming a protective covering over the upper body and flanks of the animal. Okay, porcupines. Then we have order Hyracoidea, medium-sized grazing and browsing ungulates in Africa. So their feet have rubbery pads containing multiple sweat glands and are ill-equipped for digging, so they don't really practice burrowing. No? Hyracoidea. Then we have Lagomorpha. The distinctive feature when comparing to Rodentia is the presence of a second pair of peg-like incisors set directly behind the large continuously growing pair in the upper jaw. So the hares and bunnies are under order Lagomorpha. Then we have order Macrocelidia, the small bodied mammals that are insectivorous, no? Mostly found in Africa or endemic to Africa. They have very slim bodies, slender limbs, very long hind legs and feet. The shrews are members of Macrocelidia. Okay? Then we have order Perissodactyla. They have a single toe, or the toes are odd numbered but are fused into one, bearing the weight of the entire animal. Okay, so Perissodactyla. So examples, okay, horses, okay, rhinos. Then we have order Polydota with the distinctive feature of bands of armors that look like scales made of keratin. They are primarily feeding on insects as well. They have very, very long tongues, able to dig as the limbs are also very strong. And their teeth is either reduced or missing. So the anteater, okay, are our order members of order Polydota. Okay. Now we have order Pilosa. They are insectivores or herbivores. Most species have sharp front claws. They don't have incisors. Most species have no or poorly developed molars that lack enamel. And some species, like anteaters, they don't really have teeth at all. Some representatives of Pelosa, the sloth. And then we have the primates, okay, which have brains that are larger than those of most other mammals. Most primates also have opposable thumbs, no? So the primate species or representatives are shown here. Okay? Then we have order Proboscidea, which have a long proboscis called a trunk. So they also have tusks, large ear flaps, massive legs, and tough but very sensitive skin. Elephants are under Proboscidea. Okay? Then Rodentia, one pair of incisors in each jaw. It's the key characteristic you have to remember. Then we have order Scandentia, the quadrupedal scansorial animals usually spend their time climbing trees. This tree shrew is an example. Then the order Sirenia, they have large fusiform body to reduce their friction when swimming in water. They have heavy bones that act as ballast to counteract the buoyancy of their blubber, so that they don't really go on the surface, no? That they don't float um, inadvertently. We have another order, the Soricomorpha. They have long, slim, and pointed rostrums, small eyes, and short or absent ear pinna. So the moles are examples of Soricomorpha. Then we have order Tubulidentata. These groups of animals, primarily represented by the aardvark, have a pulp cavity that is characterized to be composed of a modified type of dentin called vasodentin, no? So that each tooth have a thin, upright, parallel tubes. So the appearance is not network-like, unlike other types of mammals. No, they have individual pulp canals and held together by cementum. Tubuli dentata, aardvark. Okay, that completes our lecture on Module 12.